The governor signing into law one of the most restrictive abortion laws in the country.
With lawmakers and faith leaders looking on, Governor Kevin Stitt following through on his promise to sign all pro-life legislation that hits his desk Tuesday morning. SB 612 would criminalize abortion by making it a felony for doctors to perform abortions, facing up to 10 years in jail and up to a $100,000 fine.
That is a human being inside the womb. We believe life begins at conception, and we're going to protect life in Oklahoma.
Governor Stitt, thank you so much for coming out from Oklahoma to join us for the Life Awards in California.
Man, we're excited to be here. Great weather. The people are really good. Your team has been amazing, so it's been fun to be here.
Well, we have such tremendous admiration for you. You are the most pro-life governor in the country. In the post-Roe world, have made Oklahoma a completely pro-life state with complete legal protection for preborn children.
Pretty exciting when you say that, and just honored to be in this position. And when I was running for governor, I remember thinking, you know, if I'm fortunate enough to win, what's going to happen when I get there? And if you remember just all the things that happen to governors, you know, after they get into office, but just so fortunate and be the governor that was able to protect life and basically ban abortion in my state. It's just really an honor to support life and promote godly values in my state and lead with pro-family values. It's just really excited to be in this position.
Now, you're a dad of 6 kids, I think, married 25 years, a very successful businessman. You did not need to run for office. This is not something for your own personal career. You're doing it as an act of service. Why did you decide to, with a very busy family and business life, choose to serve?
Yeah, well, it really, I mean, like you said, I've been married 25 years. I started a company with $1,000 in a computer shortly after college. And that was my whole world. Just grew my company, was raising my family. And we have over 1,000 employees today. And, you know, I was just concerned about how my state was going. But more than anything, I just really felt the Lord just kind of, you know, just download and just say, hey, I think it's time for you to step up and run for governor. And I'm telling you, I had to Google when is the governor's race. I didn't know anything about politics. You don't know how scared I was and how nervous. And I was like, man, I don't think I can do it. But, you know, when God's for you, who can be against you? And he uses ordinary people to accomplish amazing results. And, you know, that's the great thing about our country is it's supposed to be citizen-led. I don't think our founders envisioned politics would be like some kind of profession where people would climb the political ladder. They thought you'd be a successful, you know, business person or farmer or rancher or teacher, and you would leave that to go serve your country or your state, and then you come back to the private sector. So that's what I promised Oklahomans I would do, and put a business approach on running state government. And they agreed with me, and I won and never ran for anything before, and I just won re-election. And in Oklahoma today, we have the largest savings account. We've cut taxes. We're the top 10 in people moving to our state. Our economy is booming. It's just amazing what's happening in 5 short years.
You won re-election with more votes than any candidate in Oklahoma's history. And this is after you put complete legal protections in for preborn children.
That's right.
What message do you have for people that say it's not politically prudent to be boldly pro-life as a political leader?
Well, I mean, first off, we're going to do what's right because it's what's right, no matter what the political ramifications are. But I also believe that Americans, and especially in my state, they're looking for bold leadership, and they're looking for people to stand up for truth and integrity and family values. And I talk about family values a lot. We want to be the most pro-family state in the country. I've got a fatherhood initiative. I think moms and dads being married in a family unit, and you look at poverty statistics, you want to just get rid of poverty, have a mom and a dad in a home raising children. It's it's non-existent. It's less than 5% versus single families and broken homes and raising children and children out of wedlock. And so we talk a lot of common sense in Oklahoma. We talk a lot of values, and we want to be the most pro-family state. And I think people are craving that. And we're not against anybody, but we're also going to stand for, you know, what we believe is the right way to live. And we're going to teach that to our young people. We're not going to, you know, sugarcoat stuff. we're trying to be really a pro-family state in Oklahoma.
We talk about that a lot at Live Action. We want this country to be the most welcoming place in the world to raise a family. And part of that is abolishing abortion, but it's so much more beyond that. What does that look like in Oklahoma?
Yeah, when we talk about pro-family, I mean, some of the initiatives that we've done to make sure that adoption's easy, our pregnancy crisis centers that we've set up. We've expanded postpartum benefits up to a year. They used to be like 60 days or 90 days. So engaging the churches, and I set up a program called Be a Neighbor, where nonprofits, churches, different NGOs can kind of wrap around services and work with the state, whether it's DHS services. Because I tell people all the time, you can't pass laws in Oklahoma City or Washington, D.C. to fix some of these social issues. We need neighbors walking with neighbors and reaching out to people that find themselves in a maybe an unwanted pregnancy situation. We need to remove the stigma of maybe putting a child up for adoption. So all those things we're trying to work. We're promoting fatherhood. I put $3 million into fatherhood programs. I just had a fatherhood initiative in Oklahoma. And so again, we want to be the most pro-mother, pro-baby, pro-family state in the country. And then I'm trying to encourage the churches to get around that issue. On the Be a Neighbor program, where the state services, are needing help. For example, aging out of foster care is something that I'm all over. So between 16 to 18, when you are about to age out of foster care, can you imagine an 18-year-old just kind of being dropped off and being out of the system? And I have, 6 children. And so I'm thinking about my kids kind of transitioning through college and into adulthood. And so I'm trying to engage the churches to take care of those kids in their counties when they're aging out. And in Cleveland County, where I grew up in Norman, Oklahoma, there's about 9 kids aging out of foster care. There's over 200 churches in Cleveland, Norman, Oklahoma. So we need those churches engaged with where the state really needs those folks walking neighbor with neighbor.
Beautiful. What's your message, Governor, to the many governors across the country who are maybe pro-life in their platform, but they're struggling to maybe be as bold as they need to be in protecting life?
I mean, again, to us, it's a moral issue. When you have an eternal perspective and you think about the actions that we have in this world are going to mean something, then you do it for the right reasons, number one. But also, I just believe, again, that people are looking for leaders to point them in the right direction. And so, again, you kind of have to choose your team. And I know maybe the Democrats are on one side, and the funny thing with their team is you can't get them to admit when they should stop abortion. And I look at France and most European countries, they all ban abortion between 12 to 14 weeks. And, what's really, really dangerous is really they're allowing abortion all the way up until the time of birth, which is really grotesque, and it's really out of touch with even the European countries, which I think when people really logically think about that, we're the outlier there. And in Republican states and in Oklahoma, we believe life begins at conception, and we've laid our thing down. But have a position. Let's say maybe it's a heartbeat law, or it's a 15 weeks, or but you can't tell me that you should abort babies all the way up until birth.
So, Governor, last question for you. You have been fighting now for life in the way you raise your family, and then as the way that you govern. It sounds like most of your life. What made you pro-life, and why should other people be pro-life too?
I mean, I think my worldview is a biblical worldview. And so when I think about, life beginning at conception, I think every life is a gift from God, and we're all created in God's image, and children are a blessing from the Lord. And, and so I think that drives me. And so when you think about this logically and spiritually, and we don't have a right to take that life. And so I think that, and then as a father, once I saw that ultrasound of our children, and I've asked young people whenever they, are pregnant with their first child, that life issue really comes alive for most people when they actually see their first ultrasound, when it becomes much, much more real to you at that point as well. And then as the leader of the state, I have to take positions Oklahomans strongly support me. When Dobbs happened, I tell people, listen, every state does things differently. And I can only speak, and I'm only the governor for Oklahoma, which is, we're 4 million people, the 28th largest state population-wise. But overwhelmingly, you know, I was very clear in my campaign. I told Oklahomans I was going to sign every piece of pro-life legislation that hit my desk. And these other governors that kind of say that, and they go around with cards and say they're pro-life, you know, we know that Oklahomans are with us, and I think most Americans are with us to protect life as well.
They are, and increasingly more as the truth gets out. Thank you for being a bold and courageous advocate for life and leading for life. And we pray and hope for the day when many others follow your lead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Governor Stitt.